The problem with positive WoW videos. We gotta watch this one. We gotta see this one. Everything in WoW is fine. Thank God.
The problem with positive WoW videos.
Yes.
You see so many videos about how bad
is
WoW
literally
is,
dead.
and
Yes.
almost no big ones about how good it is. This
wonder
easily
why.
leads to the opinion that the game overall is just bad, if no one is making positive videos about it. Herein lies the problem with positive WoW videos, though. No one really wants to defend $1 billion company. And even if you did, it most likely wouldn't perform well. It's not that people don't make positive videos. Sure they do. They just don't really get the views or attention as the negative ones. One negative video will drown out 10 positive ones easily. And also, rarely do people make positive videos specifically about positive aspects of the game.
I feel like you could easily count. I don't really agree with that. I'm not sure if I agree with that. And the reason why I don't agree with that is because I think Final Fantasy is a great example of that being the opposite. I think that you can't really make negative videos about Final Fantasy. So I think more so than if the videos are positive or negative, what really drives the videos is really what the community thinks. And I think it creates this like really weird like feedback loop, right? Where like content creators and like opinion makers and like, you know, influencers in the community, influencers are influenced by the community and then in turn influence the community to be further influenced by influencers that will then further influence the influencers to further influence themselves. And like this is what happens is that you create this feedback loop. And so I don't think that's necessarily like positive content or negative content is the solution. It's more or less content that resonates with an audience, content that people can watch that video and think to themselves, true. I think that's really what it is. How do you break the cycle then? You don't. That's just how people are. You can't break every cycle.
They just kind of make normal videos.
Yeah.
Take esteemed WoW outrage merchant Belluer. Warning, this is sarcasm. I don't actually believe this. Everyone know he only milks WoW for making nothing but negative videos about the game. But funny thing is, he also makes positive ones. They're just not labeled as positive, nor do they perform as well.
We put up a pretty balanced slate of content overall.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely leaning more towards criticisms lately because there's a lot of stuff to criticize. It's like what they've done with Torghast is not really great. What they've done with a whole bunch of the systems is continuing things that haven't worked. So I think if you're, if we're not criticizing that, we are part of the problem.
True. Very true.
But it's like, we do actually put up plenty of positive things.
I think they do. Like, a lot of people don't give Belluer enough credit for the positive videos that he does make. Because he makes a number of videos about, let's say, he makes videos about lore. I think Belluer recently he's made more lore videos than almost anybody else. And I understand that, like, this isn't something that's popular towards a lot of people or people don't care about, but these are positive videos that I think do make the game look good overall. Lore speculation is positive? Yeah, I would say so. Like creating speculation videos and talking about the lore of the game, I would say that's a positive video. Would you guys say that's a positive video? Yeah, I would say those are positive videos.
A lot of time and resources into positive things, like our whole Burning Crusade series that was made at a financial loss, but was made because we care about TBC, we care about WoW, and we made it because it's fun.
Even very popular WoW personality Asmongold really likes the game. It's just clips of him blowing up about it in negative ways definitely get way more attention.
I've said this a million times, I will say it again. I'm not going to quit WoW. I love playing WoW. I think that it's a fun game. I really do. I know it sounds crazy, and that's because maybe I'm crazy. But I enjoy the game. That doesn't mean that I can't play other games too, guys. Just keep it in mind, okay?
And of course, all of this stems from basic negativity bias. It's a psychological phenomenon.
That is true. That same shirt? Well, yeah, because it was like a week ago, bro. Like, it's only a week ago, of course.
Bias. It's a psychological phenomena where people see negative events as more real than positive ones.
Yeah.
I made another video going into way more detail on it. Basically, it's the only useful thing I got out of my attempt of a psychology degree, so I won't go over the specifics here. So, what does this have to do with positive videos? Well, people see positive opinions as just more fake than negative ones. And by that notion, negative videos...
Well, that's because they agree with it. Because the Final Fantasy example is a good example. Like, here are games that you can't criticize. There are things all right, on the internet. You cannot criticize Final Fantasy XIV. You cannot criticize cats. You cannot criticize Bernie Sanders. You cannot criticize weed, and you cannot criticize old school RuneScape. That's it. You cannot say anything bad about those things. That's it. So this is not a universal, I guess I understand there's a psychological fucking reason that people think this, but whenever there are clear examples of fan bases that are the opposite, I think that there is more to it than that. And K-pop. And pit bulls. True.
Tend to do better. Over on my Yu-Gi-Oh channel, my negative videos perform 3 times better than my positive ones, despite the fact that 3/4 of my video are generally pretty positive. However, even with a lucrative market that is making negative videos, there are still some excellent World of Warcraft content creators who focus more on the positive side of things.
Really?
Like my good friends Hazel, Sol, and Taliesin and Evitel.
Yeah, they do.
I wouldn't say they're wholly positive about the game, but they definitely lean on the more positive side.
I think people don't give Taliesin and Evitel like enough credit for actually being like, they criticize the game. They say bad stuff about the game all the time. Like, I think what happened is like during BFA, there was like this meme of them just being shills. And the reality is that I don't really think that's true. I think that you have some people that try to look on the bright side of things. And trying to look on the bright side of something is not necessarily being a shill, in my opinion. I just really don't think it is. And same as with Hazel, like, she just plays the game and makes videos about the game. And this is unfortunately a reality that I had to come to terms with myself. Let me see if I can find it myself real quick. If you look at my videos, the majority of my very popular videos are, these are like, me talking about the game. Most of the me talking about the game videos that I did were way more popular than actual guides. Because if you go back and you look at like some of my like super old videos, almost all of my super old videos were all guides. And how to do like Fangs of the Father. Like, I put a whole lot of time into this, making gold per hour. Like all of this stuff, Court of the Stars, Archway, like all of these things are, like, these are big time investments that I made into making these like more difficult to make videos, and it just did not really pay off. It's unfortunate, but that's it. Wasn't your fan base a lot smaller back then? Well, I mean, like, comparing it then to videos that I made then, like, discussion videos versus like guide videos.
However, what about the opposite of negativity? Is there such thing as toxic positivity?
Yes.
Well, the technical definition of toxic positivity is the phenomena where you basically just ignore negative events to your detriment.
Yes.
Like ignoring important problems, dismissing other people's difficult problems, or just feeling guilty for having negative emotions.
Yes.
Like getting angry or sad. However, more colloquially, in the online space, toxic positivity is generally used to refer to people who are very toxic when you say something bad about the thing they like. And under this more slang use of the term, there are definitely some communities in the WoW community who do get very upset if you say something negative about their particular niche.
That is very
so
true.
Upset, in fact, that I don't even really want to mention who they are. Otherwise, they'll dislike bomb my videos again. Although,
who are they? I'll do it. Who are they? Wait. He's not talking about the old classic Andys. He's not talking about the classic Andrews, is he? The classic individuals, the people that are sitting there talking about how hard the game used to be. Yeah, listen. Classic is definitely one of those things. I feel like criticizing Classic is more acceptable now than it was. Like, obviously, you're going to still have some Classic Andys, etc. But now that the game's been out and people have seen all of the weaknesses that the game has, and it's actually compared to retail WoW, I think people are a lot more realistic with it in general.
I can tell you who they're not.
Chance Domination,
the people
Guide.
who are
I'll
part
watch
of
it
the
after
Mythic
this.
Plus raiding or PvP community. Because no one likes to talk negatively about WoW more than the people who participate in endgame content.
Yes.
It's kind of to the point where I don't think WoW really has a, quote-unquote toxic positivity problem if it's only concentrated to small niches within the game.
I don't think it does either. I think that you have there is a subset of users that play WoW that are like that, absolutely, but it is not common.
However, there is a line to be drawn at calling anyone who disagrees with your negative opinions a toxic positive person.
It's a
I got
matter
called
of
a
means.
toxic positivity channel for making a video that basically told people that insulting the developers isn't good criticism.
Oh yeah, I watched
Despite
that.
the fact that I also make negative videos and don't really have a stake in WoW's success. I have other channels I work on that are more successful than my WoW channel, and if World of Warcraft died tomorrow, I'd still be able to do exactly what I'm doing now. I'd be sad because I like the game though, but I don't have any financial incentives to be positive either. Although, while toxic positivity is an important matter to bring up in a video like this, it's probably best saved to be talked about more in depth in some other video. To get back on the train of thought on the original topic, the problem with positive WoW videos is that there's really no merit to defending a big company. Big companies exist to make money and do things in the name of business that would seem sociopathic if they were done by a person.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think that's the reason why people don't want to defend WoW. I think it has nothing to do with the fact that it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Isn't Square Enix like a huge company too? Like I think Square Enix is a huge company. Like there are plenty of other. Yeah, it is. It's not as big. You're right. It's not as big as Activision Blizzard. No, but I feel like people defend big companies all the time. I don't think that's it. Square Enix is bigger, Sony is bigger. Yeah, I mean maybe that is true, but like all I'm saying is that obviously I've heard a lot of the comments and like yes, obviously simping for multi-billion-dollar company, etc. Like yes, that's definitely true, but like people weren't saying that whenever Shadowlands had just come out and Arena was at the most fun state that it's been at in years. Nobody was complaining about simping then. It's about the user experience and whether the feedback and the content resonates with people's user experience. Having it be a big company is like, if you had a bullet point list, it's like number 6 or 7. It's not even in the top 5.
Exacerbating problems in the game is entertaining and gets lots of attention, and trying to debunk the more wild claims isn't worth the time, effort, or mark on your personal brand. And lastly, positive videos do exist and in great quantity, probably far outnumbering the negative ones. They just aren't labeled as such.
They're not popular.
You won't see too many videos saying everything in WoW is fine and there's no complaints about the game. Because for one, there's always something to criticize about everything.
True.
And for two, there's nothing to really talk about there. That's why news stations rarely report on good news, because the good is ordinary, and the ordinary is not worth talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for the topic. This topic is very tame in my opinion. I should probably have a disclaimer anyway, though. Anyone named in this video is not being called out.
Oh, Jesus.
I only mention people in this video that I kind of like, but also that doesn't mean I agree with all of their opinions about everything either.
It's so sad how like every content creator, I feel like I'm like one of the only people that I don't really do that this much because like I'm fine if people get pissed off about stuff, you know what I mean? Like they get mad about something I say, like who gives a fuck, man? Like the thing is, if I feel like people are misunderstanding me, then yeah, it'll annoy me, like sure, but other than that, it's like whatever. I mean, the way I look at it is that like I've had a lot of opinions and I've said a lot of things that have gotten a lot of people angry at me. And who gives a shit? Because like at the end of the day, if you spend all day, here's a question I can ask you, right? If you spent years building up an online presence and making content and generating an audience of people that think similarly to you, what is the point of it all if you end up being a slave to their desires? Like it kills the entire purpose of doing it in the first place. It's not money though. That's the thing. Is like there aren't people, like how many people have had a bad opinion and then that their audience disagreed with and then they lost their audience? When does that ever happen? Like it's very uncommon. I'm sure like we can come up with like maybe like Boogie, right? Maybe, but like that's like way more complicated. Athene, it's not Athene. Destiny's Hassan, I don't know about that, man. Survivor Guide's out. I'm gonna look at that. iDubbbz. What did iDubbbz didn't do anything. Like most of the people that you guys are giving me examples of stopped making the content that people liked seeing. Like I'll give you an example. There are obviously actors that you probably know of that whose politics you don't agree with. Many actors you're like, oh, I fucking hate this guy's an asshole or whatever. And same with like musicians. Musicians, it's especially true. Somebody like Michael Jackson or somebody like R. Kelly or Chris Brown, somebody like that. As soon as Chris Brown started making music again, they put it back on the fucking radio. And he beat the shit out of Rihanna. All I'm saying is that the idea that you can't go against your audience or you should be afraid of going against your audience is entirely stupid. It is completely cowardly. And obviously you shouldn't do things just to rile people up. No, of course not. Like shock jock stuff is usually not the best idea unless you're doing it as like a thought experiment in a way. But overall, I do think it's a good thing to sometimes challenge your audience and remind them that you're a person and, like talk about things that maybe people might not want to get involved with. That's what I'm saying. You don't say that. Why don't you do much variety though? Because I don't really want to. Like, and also it's like a matter of like my stream. Like, I don't really want to do that with my stream. It's a difference in content, and I think that's what I'm saying, right? A difference in opinion is much different than a difference in content. Like if you have stupid opinions but you make good videos, people will keep watching your videos. If you have the right opinions and you make stupid videos, people will not watch your videos. That is just it. Content is king. Content matters. Nothing else matters. Everything is second to content. Everything is. It doesn't matter what your opinions are. It doesn't matter what your politics are. Nobody gives a fuck. If you make good content, people are going to watch you, and that's all there is to it.